Hey guys, Gary here from RV Living Life. Thanks for coming back to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring that bell and give us a thumbs up. Maybe leave a few comments. But anyway, today I'm going to show you how to create configuration files for your Victron system and how you can instantly switch between different profiles that you've created using your desktop or even on your phone. You could just pull your phone out of your pocket and quickly switch between a 30 amp or a 50 amp or any different profiles you may have, fast charging and slow charging, and do it all very easily right on your phone with just a few taps. So let's get started. To get started, we'll load up the Victron Connect. And what this does is it connects you to Victron overseas over in Europe there. And we're just loading up the portal. And what we see here is our current system and setup and what's going on with it. So you can see on shore power up here, we're taking 450 watts from shore. Our loads are 299 watts. It's jumping around a little bit. I don't know why, but the batteries are idle. They are absorption charging because the power did just go out a little while ago and we're getting back up to full power here. We're taking 130 watts from DC power, nothing from the solar because it's a cloudy day and we don't need any solar power because we're already fully charged. So there's nothing going on there. Over here, you can see our input current max is 50 amps. That is the most we would take from the pole before we start using power assist so that we don't blow the breaker on the pole. Currently, it's 19 degrees and cloudy outside, which is great. And here you can see we had that little dip in power there when the power went out shortly for a short period of time, but no big deal there. So this is what you see when you look at the dashboard. And what we're going to look at is the device list. And when you click on device list, you see your devices here. But we're going to go here right here, remote VE configure. When you click on that, it's loading up the connection between you and Victron overseas, and we're going to download the current settings. So depending on your connection and how busy Victron is, this could take a little while, or it could be quite quick. You can see it's doing different things down here, reading the grid info, blah, blah, blah. Reading the setting data, we're almost there. And then down in the bottom left here, you're going to see a file will appear because we're downloading a new file. And there it is right there. So if we click on that, it opens in the VE Bus System Configurator. You will need the Victron Connect on your computer and also the bus configurator. But if you're already set up and running, you already have these files. So we're in a split phase setup here. So we have two lines coming in. We could click this button here and we could switch both inverters as a pair. I don't really like doing that. I think that's more for a parallel setup, but not necessarily sure on that. But anyway, we're doing split phase here right on, so or on this one. So I'll just click on line 1, and this would be my master inverter. Now, because I have two inverters, it's going to show two inverters, but you can even do this with one inverter. It doesn't matter. So here's a bunch of different tabs here that we can look at. And all I'm really interested in this video is general and charger. So in general, we are at 50 amp max from shore. If we go over 50 amps, it's going to start using power assist and it's going to take power from your batteries. And then when you go below a 50 amp load in your coach or your off-grid system, whatever you have, it'll start charging the batteries again. So I have the current set at a maximum of 50 amps. And when we look at our charger, I can see my maximum charge current is also 50 amps. Although each inverter can charge at 120 amps, I don't like doing that. Everything gets hot. Your batteries prefer to be charged slower. So why charge so fast if you don't have to? So we leave that at 50 amps. And that's the setup for inverter 1, which is the master. We're going to close that and we're going to go to line 2, which is the second inverter. I'm going to right click on here. And this brings up the details for the second inverter. And again, on the general tab, we have 50 amp max from the pole. And for the charger, charge current is a maximum of 50 amps. So they're both the same. I believe if you switch these as a pair, you would not have to configure each one individually, but this is the way I've always done it. If you know any better than how I'm doing here, this is my method. If you have other ways of doing this, what you think are better or even worse, post it in the comments and we'll go from there. So let's pretend that I made some changes in the settings and I'm going to close this. And now I'm going to upload a new file and select the file. So I've cleared this directory out. So, this place out. So the only thing you see is the most recent file I downloaded. And when you look at it, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, how would you even know what that means? So I'm going to rename it. I have a naming convention that I like to use. So I'm just going to go for it. This I'm going to call split phase max 50 shore, which means I'm taking a maximum of 50 amps from the shore and a max 50 charge, which means I'm charging at a maximum rate of 50 amps. And that's how I like to name my files. Okay, so when I look at that later and I click on it, I want to select one. I can click on it and I can select open. And what that's going to do is it's starting to upload that file to the system. And what we're doing is we're uploading a new file, a new configuration to the system. And really, it's just exactly the same configuration as it was. I didn't change anything. It says the system has been configured here. So I've done that. I'll go back to the dashboard just for a review here. And you can see now I'm taking 1915 from shore, 1700 in loads. That's one AC running and whatever, the fridge, whatever else. But we're all doing fine here. We're still at 50 amps. So let's say you go to a park and at 50 amp, the pedestal kicks the power out before you even get there. It always gets close, but the pedestal keeps clicking out even before the power assist comes on. So I'm just going to go back to the device list here, and I'm going to go to the configuration. And here we'll download the current file again. Download. So now we're downloading. This could take a minute, as it did last time. Okay, it's almost done. And the new file will pop up in the bottom left again. And there it is. So I'll click on it. It'll open up in the system configurator. Let's look at the master inverter. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm at a park where the power just keeps kicking out. Even though it's a 50 amp plug, it just keeps kicking out. So I'm changing that to 45. Okay. And the charger, I'm going to leave it at 50 amp. So that's good. So I've made a change. So now when I close this, it's going to say, would you like to save that change? Well, yes, of course. And then on the other inverter, slave inverter, I'm going to open that up. And I'm also going to change this one to 45 amps. Okay, and I'm going to leave the charge at 50 as well. And I'm just going to say yes. So I've saved those changes. So each inverter has one change in it that will save. So now that I've made changes, when I close this, it's going to ask me if I want to save this to the new remote file. Okay. And I say yes. So now when I click on upload and I go to select a file, you can see that this here is the original file that I changed, and this is the new one. And look at that name, makes no sense whatsoever. So what I do for simplicity to keep the naming convention the same is I just copy that name and then I paste it in here. Okay, but it's not 50 amp max anymore from shore. It's only 45. Okay, and then I hit enter. And I save that. So now I have the latest file is now at 45 and the new one's at 50. So I'll just select that just for fun here and I'll upload it. And you can see again, we're configuring. And now we're going to actually change the settings on the inverters because what I had changed is just the file itself. Now the settings are being uploaded to the inverters. Okay, on the desktop it says it's done. So success. And now we'll go back to the dashboard. And now when we look at the dashboard, you can see up here, it's at 45 amps now. So that's the maximum we will take from the pedestal shore power before it'll start power assisting. Okay, so that's it. So let's say we want to go on to, let's say we need to charge our batteries faster and we're on a good pedestal and whatever. So we need another profile for that. So let's go back over to the device list and we'll load the remote configure and we'll download the current file again. And the reason you always download the current file is because you want to get to the point where you can configure it and re-upload it. And of course, before we re-upload it, we're going to rename it to the changes that we made. Okay, so there's a new file down the bottom left corner here. And here we go. So I'm going to select the master inverter, right click here. Okay, so let's say we're in a good park and we want 50 amps. Okay, which is pretty normal. But we want to charge. Now, I never charge over 120, over 100 amps. Everything just gets really hot and really it doesn't make that much difference. If you go up to 120 amps, it can do it. Each inverter can do it. And you'll be charging at 240 amps, which is really making all the cables, hot and all the components. So I changed the master to charge at 100 amps now, and I'll save the settings. And then I'm going to go over to the slave and right click. Okay, and that one's still at 45, so I'll change that to 50. And this one I also want to charge at 100 amps. Okay, and then I close that. And I save the settings to the remote file. And then when I close this, it will actually save the settings to that file that I had downloaded. So those settings are saved. Let's go select a file to upload. And here's another crazy named file. So again, I just click here and I copy the name just to keep the naming convention simple. You could type it all in again, but I like to do it the easy way. Okay, so I'm going to be charging, or maximum power from shore is at 50, and my maximum charge is now 100. And hit enter. Okay, and now I'm going to load that to the inverters. So here we go. Success. And when I look at the dashboard here, you can see we're back to input current at 50 amps. I don't know of anywhere in here where it actually shows the charging level. It's not showing my shore power here. I don't know why. Maybe I need a refresh. It's not the, you know, best system for keeping things up to date, but there we go. You can see the power is coming in now. And that AC just shut off, so we're down to 548 watts. Okay, so we're all good there. And that's how I create configuration files and how I can call them up rather quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now how I get that on my phone. So before I download these files onto my phone, I just want to go to this particular directory, and I created these names in a way that would make it simple for people to understand while I was creating them. But I'm going to shorten them right up so that I can see what they are on my phone, because on my phone it won't show the full name. So I'm going to change this one to 50 Shore, 100 Charge. I'm even going to shorten that up to CH and shorten Shore up to SH. So it should be quite easy to understand that as split phase, 50 Shore, 100 Charge. This one here I'm going to do the same. 45 Shore, with just the SH, and 50 Charge. And then this one, same idea. 50 Shore, 50 Charge. Now, of course, once you get used to using these names, you'll understand them quite easily. So now I'm going to email myself all three of these files so I can get them on my phone very easily. There's other ways of transferring stuff to your phone, but that's how I'm going to do it here. So I just open my Gmail and get that done. So there's my email with my three files I'm going to send. There's the three files I got. Okay, those are all saved to my phone now. So now I'll just open up the Victron Connect app. And there it is. You can see that the Victron Connect app on my phone is the same as the Victron details on my desktop. So now I'm just going to change it. I'm going to show you how I upload a file. So I just go here on the phone. I clicked on the three hamburgers, or the three lines, better known as the hamburger. Go down to the bottom, click on Remote VE Configure. Have to wait until it connects to Victron. Upload, select a file, choose a file. Now you can see in the top row here, all of those names are shortened up. You can see that they're very easy to understand. The next row down is I had uploaded them in the full length that I had shown you in the earlier in the video. And you can see they're hard to read. So when I shorten them up at the top there, you can see very easily that they are easy to understand what they are. So I'm going to pick the one that says split phase 45 in the top middle, and it is being uploaded. You can see on the desktop that the top three windows have gone blank. It is uploading. It says success on the phone. Okay, so I'll just click the three lines again, or the hamburger, go back to the dashboard. Waiting for the update. Okay, here we go. So now you can see over in the right side there, 45 amps it's charging, and 45 down here. So you can create all of these pre-configured things, and you can then select them on your desktop when that's handy. You can do it on your phone when that's handy. And that's really a great thing, especially if you have split phase setups and parallel setups, and you go to a park and it's parallel and you have your coach set at split phase. So you can just go on your phone. Of course, you need internet. You know, I normally put the Starlink up first and I get internet within a few minutes. I'm running on my batteries already anyway. And then once I have internet, I can just switch it from split phase over to parallel quite easily just on my phone while I'm doing other things. And then when I plug in, I'm good to go on parallel. So, and parallel being 30 amp in most parts and 50 amp is split phase. So that's pretty much everything. I hope you understand what I was doing there. It's actually quite easy to do once you get used to it. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe and leave a few comments down below. I'd like to know any comments you have. And any questions, please ask. I answer all comments. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye now.